Kia ora, ko Alice tōku ingoa. My name is Alice and welcome to Oasis Sense. Today you are balancing on my water bottle while I film the intro and the voiceover of this video. This was filmed back in late April on the 22nd and 23rd of April. It is the Wellington Armageddon vlog, and I thought maybe I would do a little bit of an in-depth talk about how the event went. I mean, I kind of do that often, don't I? Who knows? But also about how much we made, but not monetary wise, just percentage wise. I actually track how many items I sell now. I didn't used to. That is a newer thing I have started doing since mid to late last year, and I'm going to talk all about it. So I hope you guys are interested in this. If you are looking to get into selling at Artist Alley and you're not a typical artist like I am, I make soap and candles. I do not make art. I make a different form of art, I guess. Then this is the video for you. A little bit of insight into how well I feel I do at an event like this, and how I fit into the Artist Alley sphere. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Not scripted, not planned. Yeah, so let's get on into it. This was Wellington Armageddon, and Wellington Armageddon is an event in Wellington. Wowie! Wellington is the capital of New Zealand. If you didn't know already, I am from New Zealand, so that is an important thing to note. The New Zealand Artist Alley community is very different, I think, to overseas. We do have a close-knit community, as in you see the same artists over and over again. There's a Discord server and a Facebook group. I'm actually not part of the Facebook group, but I am part of the Discord server, which I don't know how I managed to get in there as a non-artist artist, but I'm in there and I give advice. I feel like I have some good advice as someone who runs a small business, has successfully made it into a full-time thing, although I say that and then I've got another job right now, but at the end of the day I have made it into a full-time thing. I was self-employed for nearly 2 years full-time. I just saw the recession coming and thought, let's be smart and get some extra income from working another job. That is why I'm not full-time self-employed now. But yeah, Wellington Armageddon. It is in the capital of New Zealand, in Wellington. I live in Auckland, which is about a 8 to 10 hour drive from Wellington. Byron and I drove down. Byron is my fiance. He also owns part of the business. You will see him in this video throughout. He's helping me set up and stuff. We spent, I will tell you how much we spent as in a basic thing. So we spent about $500 on the event. Wait, actually sorry, $430, so take $70 off, and that is for one of these booths. That is the cost of a booth here at Armageddon. It varies depending on which event you're going to. The smaller regional events such as Palmerston North and Tauranga cost a little bit different than Wellington, I'm pretty sure. The most expensive one is Auckland. It's just the way it is, you know. Auckland is an expensive city to live in. In terms of accommodation, we spent just over $300, and transport cost was about nearly $200 after fuel and everything. We did go down to Taupo the night before the setup day, which is the Friday the 21st of April, and that was free. I think it cost us $20 total because we had points from when we went to Japan. Whoopee. In total I took a lot of items. Oh, I don't actually have that linked. I took a lot of items, as I do, and I sold 65% of my stock. Ideally I'd like to be selling 80%. I'm still slowly getting there. I have been playing around with how much of each type of item I take, which is why I've been tracking it. I track how many tins I take, how many glass jars, etc, etc. I've just started tracking how many 60ml glass jars because I didn't used to take them to events. I stopped about mid last year and I only took my other sizes, but now that I don't actually have any tins in stock personally, I kind of need to take something else that's a lower price point. And so I sold 65% of what I took. It's not too bad. For Overload the weekend before I sold 67% of what I took, so I would love to have, you know, sold a bit more, but the aim is 80% and one day I'll get there. I'm still figuring out how many items of each size I should take. It's also a matter of how many different items I should take. Because I sell scented items, it's really hard. I like to have a whole range covered of what people would enjoy. You know, some people may enjoy coconut, other people won't, so I make sure I have a good options, you know, etc, etc. I'm still getting a hang of it. I don't think I'll ever have it perfect, but people seem to like me having a big range. I do get a few people saying, oh, so many to smell, but then they find one they really like, and it's good to have ones within the same scent family that are both sweet so they can compare between sweet ones. Maybe I should have a few less, but honestly, looking at my list for Wintergeddon, which is in Auckland in about a month, I don't think I've listened to my own advice. I do think it's important to always have changing stock, and to always look at switching things up for events, especially if you're a maker. It's really hard with art, obviously, because you buy X amount of prints and X amount of stickers and everything, and so you do bring out new things every so often, but you do want to really have like a cohesive changing look, because people will buy from you time and time again if you have different stuff. The thing about that though is I sell a perishable item. People burn candles, and so the other thing I need to consider is bringing back past candles every so often to allow for people to rebuy their favourites. I do take a list. What do I say? Like I have a list of things people suggest that they'd love me to bring back, and I add it, and then sometimes I'll do like 2 people suggested this, so I'll bring this back for sure. Other times is what I feel like bringing back, and they tend to go well. Sometimes they don't, you know, it's a guessing game half the time. Overall, this year compared to last year Wellington Armageddon, this year's Armageddon was in April, and this is when they planned to do all of their Wellington Armageddons. However, due to COVID last year it was postponed to December, so there were only 6 months between the last Wellington Armageddon and this one, and that really affected how things went. I made a total of $3 more at this one than I did at last year's one, which isn't a great thing. I'm not upset though. I did sell 3% more of stock than I did at the last Wellington Armageddon, which means I am getting better at taking the right amount of stock. However, I think because of recession and people being confused that there was another event on, and also a few people boycotting the event, there was less attendees, and you could definitely feel it. It felt quiet, it felt empty, and that really sucked. It sucks for your mental health when you go to an event that you hope to do well at and it just doesn't pop off like you hope. So we'll see how the rest of the events go this year. Overload for me did amazing compared to last year. I mean, it's only a few $100s more than last year's Overload, but you know, it felt better as an event, whereas Wellington felt worse than last year. I also didn't cosplay. I mean, that's not really related to me running a business, but I did not cosplay for this one, and that was just because I couldn't be bothered. I've been through some stuff. If you've seen past videos, if you did watch the video and you didn't skip through the trigger warnings, then you'll know what I've been through. If you didn't, then I've been through some stuff and I haven't felt like working on cosplay, but I'm planning on it for June Auckland Armageddon. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, I don't really have much else to talk about other than I think this event went well. I enjoyed myself. It was really nice spending time with Byron and spending some time with some friends, and I just wish that there had been more people there buying stuff, which everyone will wish. But I think I'm moving in the right direction with how much stock I take to Armageddon. I don't know if I'll do Wellington Armageddon next year, and that is solely because the date of it hasn't been announced yet, but there are 2 potential dates clash with Overload's date for next year, and Overload's a local event for me, so I'm going to do that over a out-of-town event, especially an out-of-town event that makes less than a local event. So hope you guys understand that. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. If you want me to talk about anything else within running a small business, especially in Artist Alley, please ask the questions below and I'll try my best to answer them. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the music for the last little bit of this video, and I'll see you guys all next week with a different type of video. Also Artist Alley, talking about how I set up for events and how I plan for events, like behind the scenes on the day. Otherwise, have a great day. Ka kite anō.
My love language is your time and attention. Won't you give some of it to me?